Yo, it's Sway.
Sway.
Sway. Sway.
Sway.
Sway.
Sway.
In the morning.
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 Only on Shade 45.
Wake your fuck ass up.
Yeah. Bitches.
Hey, Clive, I think I could have got on the vocals right there. What do you think?
You know, let me just give you a little background. What I do if I'm in front of college audiences or writers or producers, if I'm making a speech, what I do is that I play the demo of the song when it first came to me. And to appreciate Whitney's genius, I then play, like you just heard, I Want to Dance with Somebody. And what Whitney brought to that vocal, I mean, she brings heat to it. You feel it's not just dance. She wants to be more intimate, personal. I mean, her read of it shocked the composers. I'll never forget when I played them, Whitney's version of her demo. It was so different. And it just shows with an artist like Whitney, because pound for pound, leaving Aretha to a side in her own Hall of Fame, but pound for pound, everybody, arrangers, writers, producers, we all knew that Whitney was the best voice in the world, no question about it.
Would you argue that she was the greatest of all time in terms of pop recordings, Whitney Houston?
No, I mean, I think what I just said, yes. I think everybody considered her in the contemporary field. Look, Aretha is in a class by herself. She's an all-time national treasure. But right up there, of anyone coming after, it was clearly Whitney Houston.
It was Whitney Houston. Let me ask you about other artists, because I was reading in your book that sometimes you sign an artist and they have a lot of promise behind them and they don't meet the promise. There's other artists that may not have as much promise, but you develop them and they eventually meet the promise. Has there been an artist that you feel like, not that you so much failed at, but the artist didn't turn out as well as you would have liked them to?
Well, there was an artist and is an artist who is extremely talented and does have a major career, and that's Deborah Cox. I see that she's headlining, theater, and she really has a fabulous voice. Maybe because she was the artist that I concentrated on after Whitney, that they expected a career as big as what Whitney had. Look, we broke the all-time record with Deborah. Nobody's supposed to be here. Number one, 14 straight weeks at R&B radio. She certainly has had success, but she never reached the peak that of Whitney Houston. And so, of course, really no one else has. But, I mean, I would have hoped that Deborah would have been able to, in certain quarters, in the dance field, in theater, she has gone on to have a major career.
Mr. Clive Davis has joined us. The Soundtrack of My Life is the book. You can pick it up right now. Even if your question doesn't get answered today, pick up the book, and it'll answer a lot of questions. Melanie is in Florida. You have a question for Mr. Davis?
The only question I have is, how could I possibly write a book like you do? That is my dream. I have 5 children. My life makes Precious look like a fairy tale. I just really, and I've never really tried because I don't know where to go. I don't trust anybody. You know that.
Well, first of all, I don't come with that paranoia. I mean, the idea is, for me, there was tremendous demand over the years from not only those in the industry, but from the public. Don't forget, I was the first 6 years of American Idol. Don't forget, I was the one that founded LaFace Records with L.A. and Babyface. And then when both L.A. and Face and I realized that a hip-hop revolution was there and we were flirting with it, I mean, to L.A. and Babyface's credit, they had TLC, they had Outkast, Usher, but we didn't have the streets. I had Whitney, I had Dion, I had Aretha. We didn't have the streets. And so I met with Puffy. He was a young guy at the time. I tell in my book the story of Bad Boy Records, and he played me. I said, look, I hear your dream. And his dream was to also expand to top 40, that they not be just put in a separate niche. And he then played me Flavor in Your Ear by Craig Mack. He played me 4 cuts from Biggie's, who was totally unknown at the time. And I knew the guy that was sitting in front of me was the real goods. And so I financed Bad Boy Records.
And then the rest is history, because they had such a great run. Your first time meeting Biggie, what was that like? What do you remember about him?
You know, I remember we were celebrating Bad Boy. He and Craig Mack were the only artists. He was rather stoic. I got to tell you at the meeting. I want to be accurate. He was certainly respectful. He said he had always wanted to meet me. Puffy and I we took over a major room at the Plaza Hotel. We were celebrating Bad Boy. We were going to prepare everybody for Biggie's arrival. You know, he just was taking it all in. I mean, he was looking everywhere, and you know, with seriousness of demeanor. You know, no put down, nothing like that. But
no nonsense.
It was a first time experience for him and being presented in this kind of way.
When he was killed, did you have a talk with Puff about what's going on? What are you guys doing? What's going on? I mean, what did you say to Puff when that happened? And
I want to tell you that because I obviously read about this in my book. I trusted that what I was reading in the interviews that Puffy was giving, I call him Puffy to this day. What can I tell you? It's like when you're a parent or what have you, you know your kid by a certain name. I'm not changing it as he's changed his names over the years. But I never sat down with a one-on-one on Puffy. I believed in his innocence in this whole controversy, and we never did have any separate private one-to-one. I mean, I knew that if there was anything different from what he was saying, he was involved in a legal, major imbroglio, so he would tell me. But we did not have a private
conversation about Biggie's death.
Correct.
All right, Mr. Clive Davis has joined us.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.